today or not? But our greatest concern is now for his life. Because what we were met with today was an attack on not only JNU teachers, not only JNU students, but an attack on the availability of any rights to anybody who opposes the BJP RSS. I will, we will be writing about this event, etc. But I will give you in brief what happened, because I think you should hear the voices of all the teachers who were there, or as many would like to speak right now. First of all, we have now understood that this battle is a huge one. Because we went into the courtroom, there were nobody sitting there, so we were very happy. There were 2 rows of chairs. We could get seats at the front, and we were looking for Comrade Kanhaiya to be produced. We were in the courtroom for half an hour. The court reporters came, sat down. There was no hint of trouble whatsoever. And then, escorted by the police, a bunch of lawyers came charging into the courtroom, telling us to clear out because we are देशद्रोहीs. आप कैसे अपने स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़ाते हैं? एंटी नेशनल स्लोगन्स लग रहे हैं. So this was not just lawyers seeking to find their chairs in the courtroom. And this crowd was just that jammed the doors and they caught hold of faculty and started physically pushing them out. It so happened that at that moment in the courtroom, there was Professor Janaki Nair, Professor Nivedita Menon, Professor Madhu Sani, Professor Susan Vishwanathan, Professor Chitra Harshvardhan. Yeah, I've done it. So women, that did not deter them. And myself, of course. And that did not deter them. And Rohit and Himanshu. Right? That was it. Yeah, and our student Pankuri. And Nirdosh. They then started ejecting us, and some of us just refused to move, and some people who, like me, who are weighty can refuse with greater strength. But others more slight, and certainly at the front were pushed out. Rohit, our assistant professor from the Center of Economic Studies and Planning, was beaten. They were surrounded by lawyers. We were appealing to them and to the police that was watching, and basically escorting the lawyers, doing nothing, because apparently the Constitution of India doesn't apply to the Patiala court, where the government, the judge, the executioners are all lawyers of the RSS BJP persuasion. Rohit was hit on his ear, and Himanshu too was pushed, and they were pushed out. Nivedita and I don't know exactly who was in the front of the line, because we were all surrounded in that small courtroom. I couldn't see where anybody was. There were so many people. They refused. While Rohit was being beaten up, they managed to sort of slink back in, and then all the women faculty came back in and refused to move. We said, this is not your courtroom. We are not going. The details of our angle, but our demands were basically 2. That they have no right to evict us from the courtroom, and we will not listen to the police, which has been escorting them, until the judge tells us that we need to clear the courtroom. We are not clearing. We will also need not leave without a police escort. This whole battle, in which we made oral complaints to the police about sexual harassment. Many of us have never been sexually harassed by nationalists before, but this happened to us, right? I have been touched by the nation, so to speak. But we refused to move. Eventually, we understood that this is now going to become the excuse, if we had no idea whether Comrade Kanhaiya is going to be brought, because we understood that they were there for him. and the situation was out of control. Also, the judge gave us the order. But we refused to leave without a police escort. And that was very wise, because the police then made us march the innards of Patiala Court because they could not get us. At every exit, there was a bunch of howling nationalists calling us Deshdrohis and saying, "What are you teaching your students?" They were pulling at us. Somehow, finally, like in every other place, the lower classes in a particular court are the ones that the poor and the people who are less advantaged often give support, so we could get out through the notary public. We asked the police to make sure that we were escorted right to her vehicles, but they said we cannot do it, because when we came out, we saw that police students were being beaten. So then we got into autos and rushed to NGMA, where we regrouped, and we are here before you. The most important thing is that we understand this attack for what it is. I know that you feel passionate about teachers and you feel, but that is not our focus. We must see this as one more provocation. We are all here.